Lar.
Here.
Dowling.
Here.
Swallow. Here. Bear. Brooks.
Here.
Parsons.
Here.
Bowman.
Here.
All right. Item 4, swearing-in ceremony for Jim Scribner, City Marshal, and Garrett Lar, Ward 1, Seat 2. Gentlemen, if you'll present yourself to the council here. Right there. That works.
Is this the spot?
That'll work. All right, you raise your right hand. All right. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma, and that you will not knowingly receive, directly or indirectly, any money or other valuable thing for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty pertaining to your office other than the compensation allowed by law? Do you further swear or affirm that you will faithfully discharge your duties, Garrett as Ward 1, Seat 2 council member, and Mr. Scribner as the City Marshal, to the best of your ability?
I do.
I do.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 5 is election of City Council President. You can see in your agenda packet the statutes there. I'm not going to read it to you, but in a nutshell, the council president serves in the absence of the mayor, whatever reason the mayor may be absent. And so you guys get to choose. So
I make a motion to nominate Daniel Winters as City Council President.
I'll second.
okay, I have a motion from Mr. Bowman, a second from Dr. Lar, to elect Daniel Winters as the council president. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Bowman.
Yes.
Lar.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Parsons.
Yes.
Dowling.
Yes.
Swallow. Yes. Winters.
Yes.
All right. This is important because I have the giving of the green concert tonight, and I might be stepping out if we're not finished. So at this time, I'm going to recess the city council meeting, and we'll go call to order the utility authority special meeting so that Mr. Myers can help us with these items and get back on the road to home. So please call the roll when you're ready.
Winters.
Here.
Lar.
Here.
Dowling.
Here.
Swallow. Here. Bear. Brooks.
Here.
Parsons.
Here.
Bowman.
Here. All right. Item 3 is discussion and action to approve the ORWB, it should be OWRB, waterline project bid from Marsaw Enterprises of $805,006.40 as the lowest and best bid. We had the bid opening, and I informed you all, I think, at the budget retreat that Marsaw came in at $805,000. We did have 3 bids. Those, the summary of those bids is in the letter recommendation from Myers Engineering. Marsaw was the lowest bid. Everything is up to snuff as far as their abilities as a contractor to perform the scope of work and all of that. And so that is the recommendation. Drake, Bill, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm Bill Myers. It's good to meet everybody. Some of you I've met before, but I was going to say Marsaw did the replacement of about a mile of main, probably 2 or 3 summers ago for us.
6,000 foot.
What?
6,000
6,000 feet. Was it 2 summers ago?
2 summers ago.
So and they did a great job. They've done a lot of work for us across the state. So yeah, I think we'll like them, and they're a top tier contractor. So and we recommend it. And I wanted to tell you that when we, I know you have another item on there, but so we estimated the construction cost of $1 million or $999, something like that. And this is paid for with a OWRB ARPA grant, which is, I want to tell y'all, this is a big deal. Because they only, I think they awarded, 50 or so, something like that. and you all got funded, which is really amazing. So your only costs are just the engineering fees and the staking, and it's really pretty neat. And if we can, I think that's a once-in-a-lifetime deal if this happened. But there's other things in the future we're going to go for, try to get funding to do some more pieces of the line. And we just recommend that you all award that to them so we can move on and get the project moving. It could be a good deal.
Does council have any question or discussion? I'd entertain a motion.
A motion to approve the OWRV waterline project bid from Marsai Enterprises of $805,006.40 as the lowest and best bid.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Mr. Winters, a second from Dr. Lahr to approve the waterline project bid from Marsai Enterprises for $805,006.40. Is there any further discussion?
Is that all 16-inch line?
I think so. Yeah.
16.
This is along that stretch that we had the issues with coming into town from the oil well. Does this resolve the issue where we had to have both of the two lines running with the valves?
Not yet.
That's the change
Okay.
order.
We're gonna get that, I think, aren't we, as far as...
I had one other question. How do it mentioned disinfecting the line after they're done. How do they go about disinfecting the line?
So they use like a chlorine, most times tablets, chlorine tablets, they'll put it in before their final piece and they'll pressure it up. I don't remember, do you know what the pressure is on that?
200 PSI.
200 PSI, and that's how they'll disinfect, it'll be disinfectant through that line.
They'll basically let it cook, so to speak, and then they'll flush it, and then we'll take 2 consecutive back tea samples once it's clean, and that's the disinfection process.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, please call the vote. Or, no,
First and second.
we did?
Me.
Oh, yeah, okay. Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Lahr,
Yes.
Parsons,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Swallow. Yes. And Bowman.
Yes.
All right. Item 4 then is discussion and action to approve the change request to the OWRB waterline project for $191,971.60. Being that the bids came in on the majority of the major piece of the project under budget, and that we had $1 million available to us to spend for this project, Drake and Bill worked together to get us a change that would allow us to maximize the use of those grant dollars. So, you guys want to explain?
Well, the main thing I wanted to say is that we were able to add about 900 feet of main, okay, just another 900 feet. And then we also were able to add or replace 8 butterfly valves. And that's going to help that, because if you remember, when was the big leak? I don't remember what it was now.
December 15th.
15th, okay. So some of the valves weren't working properly, and we didn't have enough. So what we did was, in this project, we're going to add 8 additional valves at strategic locations to where I think the maximum length we'll have to shut down is 3 miles now. So that's pretty nice. I think there's a map in the packet that they had? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that's part of the change order as well. And really, so there was about, what was it, 160 some thousand is what we're doing. And, wait a minute. I probably the wrong change order, so I don't have my letter in front of me. Oh, here it is. So basically, we're adding 191,000 by doing these mains and the valves, which we can utilize the whole grant. The water board didn't want us to turn back any money, okay, frankly. It just makes it trouble for them. So they prefer us to spend it. We talked to them. They said this would be great. If you all approve this, we're going to submit to them tomorrow. And then we go to the next step of their engineering group. We set up with the contractor and we'll get started. Hopefully, within the next month, we'll be able to kick in, so to speak. So that's really what we're doing. Like I said, this could be a once-in-a-lifetime deal to have this thrown at us. So.
How long does the project last?
I think we had,
Month.
well, we put 90 days in the contract, I believe.
I think it was 90.
Yeah, hopefully they'll, do it quickly. They might use the whole thing, I don't know.
Marshall never uses the whole thing.
Yeah,
Marshall likes to get their stuff done because they have other jobs they want to get to, so the quicker they can get it done, the quicker they can get to their next job, so they're usually pretty good.
Any other council discussion? I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the change request to the OWRV waterline project for $191,971.60 as stated in the agenda.
Second. Have a motion from Mr. Winters and a second from Mr. Bowman to approve the change request to the waterline project for $191,971.60. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Swallow. Yes. Parsons,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Lard.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Bill, for coming up, and we appreciate it.
thank you. I'm gonna take off, if that's okay. Okay,
Drive safe.
good seeing you all.
Send rain.
Good seeing you.
All right, so we will adjourn the utility authority meeting and resume the city council meeting. Item 6 is discussion and action to approve the expenditure of funds from the lighting grant from the Oklahoma Department of Commerce. Expenditure in the amount of $31,336.62. So we received the grant for LED upgrades to city properties. The grant amount that we received, that we're eligible for, is $31,336.62. I don't know why it's not a round number, but it's not. The contractors have been on site to shore up their estimates of cost, and so it looks like we're probably going, when we initially thought we were going to be able to do City Hall, and probably not have enough to do any other projects, but I think based on the most recent estimate we have, we're probably actually going to add the professional building into, no?
Now we're going to do the rec center inside and City Hall. And that will cover that, and we will still have, after our rebates, which we can use as a match, we'll still have to pay $1,558. And that will cover those two facilities and expend all the funds. If we only used one of the two, we'd be giving back money.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I looked at all three of the proposals, and we couldn't do all three. It was a large sum to add in the professional building, but we can knock out two of the three.
And this will be a grant that we reapply for in the next fiscal year. So, like I said, this is just approving that if they send us the money, we'll spend it on lighting.
Question on that. So the rec center, was the funds that they already do receive, it seems like they are at times are in a better financial situation than properties such as the professional building. Was that taken into consideration?
It was. The problem is that building over there, it was going to be, between the professional building and us, we're going to have to kick in a lot more money. The nice thing about the rec center is that they have their own, a pretty healthy capital outlay right now. So it made more sense to do this building than theirs, and then it won't cost us anything for City Hall. It only costs another $1,500 to get the inside of the rec center, because they have the money to do that. To be honest with you, between City Hall and and when we say City Hall, that means us, fire, and PD. We wouldn't have enough money necessarily to kick in to cover both of these, but we do with the rec center. So Courtney and I talked about that quite a bit this morning. So one thing we're disappointed in, we're still waiting for the estimate to come in, is LED lighting for the fields, which will be a huge cost savings. And so we may not even wait for the grant for that. Just going to talk to Courtney, see what we're going to do. That might be something to use our capital outlay we have to get those fields upgraded, so we're not paying our electric bill for those fields is crazy. I mean, it's astronomical. So if we can get LEDs out there, that would really save us a bunch of money every year.
We do have a better than average shot at getting next year's grant, which is $75,000. So
Don't we have solar ones at the park?
we've got solar ones at Hatfield Park.
Are they going to do anything like that at the rec park to save money? Or?
discussed. Those solar lights were bought with a grant as well, and I can't remember the expense, but it was considerably more for those lights than it is. And I don't know that there's also, Stephanie's also got a grant that she's working on trying to figure out how it fits into the city of Alva, but it is an alternative power grant. And the conversation there is stemming around, is it going to be appropriate for something inside the city limits, or would it be more appropriate out at the well field, or, something like that. So the conversations have not included solar light posts at the recreation complex, but there are solar conversations going on.
What was the dollar amount to do the professional?
I've got it on my computer, I can go, well, maybe I can find it here. Let's see.
Is that replacing the entire fixture or retrofit
Retrofitting.
as much as we can?
And there's some cases we're gonna have to replace the fixture, but for the most part, it's retrofit as much as possible.
The retrofit is going to be the least expensive option on the project itself. And then moving forward, if an LED light fixture goes out, you replace an LED light fixture. When you've got a retrofitted LED fixture, you just replace the bulb, unless, more than likely, that's all you're replacing if a retrofitted fixture goes out.
I don't have it, I'll pull it up for you.
And then I just didn't, do you know what time, I just saw that you gotta get it all done before June 30th.
Yeah.
What time are they starting?
So the subcontractor, which is
Oklahoma LED.
Bridgeport,
Oh,
so Oklahoma LED's subcontractor got Bridgeport to do the work.
okay.
They're planning on coming here by the end of May. Once we get approval to spend those funds, they can be here in a matter of weeks to start the work.
I'd make a motion to approve the expenditure of the funds from the lighting grant from the Oklahoma Department of Commerce in the amount of $31,336.62.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Winters, a second from Dr. Lahr to approve the lighting grant expenditures from the Department of Commerce in the amount of $31,336.62. Is there any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Lahr,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Swallow. Yes. Parsons,
Yes.
Dowling,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
All right. Item 7 is discussion and action to approve a purchase order for 3 police department F-150 police vehicles from Bob Moore Ford in the amount of $175,679. This item, I will tell you that some of our reality for the budget has changed since the last time we spoke at the retreat. Between Steve and I and the recommendations that came out of the council retreat, we were able to get the budget zeroed out and be able to fit in the budget the lease amounts for these vehicles. What we're doing right now, though, is only approving the purchase order. Bob Moore Ford is giving us state contract pricing on these F-150s at like $58,000 a piece, and that is with the law enforcement package. So I don't know if anybody shopped new F-150s lately, but that's a pretty good bargain. If we approve the purchase order, they will put us on their list for their next production run. And so I don't know, can you remember, Steve, how long that?
He said at least 4 months, but they couldn't really pin it down real solid for him.
But their timeline for accepting purchase orders is...
That's already closed. They just were being nice guys and gave us a slot.
Okay.
So they've already closed. They're not taking any more orders from anywhere else in the state. They just knew we wanted them, so they kept 3 aside for us to give my purchase order.
What discussion and questions do y'all have?
How many in the fleet of patrol cars, how many do we have right now? We mentioned it before, but is it 6 to 8 or I think it's 9, isn't it?
I may be wrong.
Yes, Ben. Any other questions while
I know that we talked, and I talked to him about the original line item for small tools and equipment being changed to what capital outlay. I didn't know if line item 508, 557, lease and purchase payment was a more appropriate category for that.
It could be, so, yeah, that's certainly something we can look at. If either one, I mean, I still think it's capital outlay equipment as well, so either way, I think we're okay, but it either one of those two line items.
Oh, the way we do it, the capital outlay will be the total amount, because we'll have loan revenue come in and then we'll have the expenditure go out, but then the lease payment will be under lease payments.
Was anything other than the F-150s considered, or why did we select the F-150s?
The Explorers were what we have been looking for, and everything that the dealerships are saying is that their availability is way less and their affordability is less as well. So the F-150s were a more economical and more readily available option.
Okay.
I mean, I could see getting one and paying cash for it, but getting three, I'm not real keen on getting three and incurring more debt to do it. I'd just rather see us, if we're gonna do it, get one and pay cash and stagger the purchases out instead of all at once. But, I mean, that's just my take on it.
Because ultimately, the revenue that comes to pay for these comes from the utility for you guys. Because please.
No, it'll come from our capital, the 5% we're setting aside for capital outlay in the
From
budget.
our sales tax.
I see the value of staggering them. I've argued that we should be staggering our purchases. I also recall keenly from our budget retreat the mileage and years of the vehicles they have and the number of times over the last 5 years that they came and asked for vehicles. I don't think we've bought them one in at least 5 years. I could be wrong
With
on
the
that.
exception of insurance replacements.
Yeah, we have not budgeted a replacement for them. And I think 3 is still a portion of what they would ultimately need, even
Ben
in the
responded.
discussion of reducing their fleet. So
Well, how long ago did we get some new ones off?
I'm sorry.
Insurance? You know?
I would say, well, it's probably 4 years.
And I mean, I think you're looking at, I'm not an expert on what police cars cost, but I mean, when I got the number $58,000 for a, I mean, I don't know if that's a good price or not. I've never shopped for one, but from what I've kind of looked at, that seems like a pretty good price. And you know, with how things are with supply chain, you never know what next year holds. And so, if, you know, maybe I like the paying cash for things, but I can also understand why we would want to purchase more than one at this time, if that's a good price.
the rate of inflation relative to the rate of finance is less, and so therefore financing does make more sense in the financial climate we're in.
We have 8 law enforcement vehicles, counting animal control, so 7 police department, 1 animal control. All but 2 have over 100,000 miles, and the assistant chief's Tahoe needed to be replaced a year ago.
But you bring up a great point, Mr. Burns. If you look at the package, the financing rate we've worked out with RCB Bank is 4.29. And that's kind of unheard of as well.
Right now
It's
it is.
just that age, so that's also, and like the mayor's asked me, once we get this approved and moved into the next FY, we're working off that budget. I plan on shopping this out to our local banks and see if anybody would be willing to match it, much like they did with the ambulance, where they all kind of came together as a conglomeration, and see if they can come close to that same financing rate, because we'd much rather use our local banks.
I'd make a motion to approve a purchase order for 3 police department F-150 police vehicles from Bob Moore Ford in the amount of $175,679.
I'll second.
Is that Joe?
Yes.
Have a motion from Mr. Winters, a second from Mr. Parsons to approve a purchase order for 3 police department F-150 police vehicles from Bob Moore Ford in the amount of $175,679. Is there any further discussion?
You know, one thing about this that really frustrates me is every time we come here and you talk about the fleet this town has, it's all worn out completely. I mean, we've got 9 cars, we're spending a whole bunch of money for 3 new ones. How are we going to get the other 6? Are we going to start planning for fire trucks, trash trucks, ambulances? So
That's the capital improvement fund. That's the idea. That's why that was established 3 or 4 years ago. It was never implemented properly, and now we have it implemented with the idea that we'll be able to start actually phasing things in.
well, we need to, because, you know, the people doing it can't drive Joe. I mean, they've got to have reliable stuff. And, I don't know, that's just, I'm sorry to bit. I apologize.
I agree. Any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Winters,
Yes.
Parsons,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Brooks,
No.
Lahr,
Yes.
Dowling,
No.
Swallow. Yes.
All right. That is all the business we have, and we are adjourned.